This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
You know it. I know it. We all kind of know this already. It does not matter who the host is. Anyways, I hope you are coming off a fantastic weekend. I really do. I hope you had a grand time as things were going on. Anyways, today is, Monday, October the 9th of 2023, day 282nd of the year, and only 83 days left to go. Yep, 83. Yep. So we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM and hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio.
Yes, hanging out with our friends at Radio Big, doing the things that they get to do. Yeah, all that fun stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, we have to enjoy the fun because that's just kind of the way that it goes. So a lot of things happening over the weekend, as you are now, some updates. So let's see, some changes in news stories, all that fun stuff. You know, so that's why we're here. We're here waiting to give you, the world of info. I will tell you, half of our writing staff is not here today, as it is, a holiday in Canada. Yep, holiday in Canada. So, some celebrations going on there as we are going on. So, just so you know, that stuff's going down. But with that being said, if you're not familiar with the show, let's talk about this. We're a show that talks about safety. We're a show that talks about the news. We talk about safety in the news and safety. We have a form of you being able to interact with the show that's called callinradio.com. Listen, we are on the socials. Yeah, I get it. But if you go there and leave a message, the odds of us seeing it during the show, probably slim to none, just so you know. Not that we don't check them. We just check them pretty much post. If you go to Call In Radio, it gives it to us in real time. There's a video. There's an audio messaging that's available. And, of course, there's the tradition of the text message. So all those things are readily available for you to do so. Anyways, with that being said, let's do this real quick. Let's go ahead and tell you what the hell's on the tab. What's trending.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so if I look at the trends of the ends, a historic painting explodes in value, and you're not alone in your bug battles. We'll talk about that as we get into the shit list. Millie Bobby Brown loves her carrot dirty. and Will Ferrell pumped up the jams at USC. Lots of spooky things happening at the filming of The Exorcist. We'll talk about that as we get into hour 2. And then we'll talk about some of the changes of some things that we're seeing stylistically in regards to the world of safety. So we'll talk about all that fun stuff. So, we will always get you moving and grooving and all that fun stuff. So don't worry about that. So I have some professional broadcasters that are waiting outside of this door to talk to you. They want to know, they want to let you know what the hell's going on. I got some Mark Mayfield waiting right outside that door. Are you ready for Mark? I mean, I think you should be, because, he has the news that's going to move you. No, seriously, he really is. So let's do that right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. The death toll keeps climbing after the coordinated attack by Hamas on Israel over the weekend. More than 1,000 Israelis and Palestinians have been killed, while officials have confirmed some American casualties. Israel, which has responded with airstrikes in Gaza, formally declared war on the militant group Sunday. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed that Israel would take mighty vengeance as his country embarks on a long and difficult war that was forced upon us. The Israeli government says that Hamas has taken at least 100 civilians hostage. Meantime, the Pentagon is moving U.S. Navy ships and military aircraft closer to Israel in a show of support. President Biden is making it clear that Israel has full U.S. support.
In this moment of tragedy, I want to say to them and to the world and to terrorists everywhere that the United States stands with Israel. We will not ever fail to have their back.
Biden spoke from the White House Saturday after the deadly surprise attack on Israel. Biden said there is never justification for terrorist attacks, and Israel has a right to defend itself and its people. He also had a stern warning against any party hostile to Israel wanting to exploit the attacks for their own benefit. A man is dead and several others were injured after a shooting at a party in Pennsylvania.
We continue to ask the public to provide us with any information they have. Please get it around that time, provide it to law enforcement.
Police say it happened early Sunday at a private community center party in Indiana County. The victim who was killed was pronounced dead at the scene. At least 8 others were wounded and hospitalized. No suspects were in custody as of late Sunday night, and authorities are looking for more than one gunman. And Brock Purdy threw for 252 yards and 4 touchdowns as the San Francisco 49ers dominated the Dallas Cowboys 42-10 on Sunday Night Football at Levi's Stadium. San Francisco improved to 5-0 and is one of the 2 undefeated teams in the NFL. Meantime, Dallas dropped to 3-2 on the season. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Israel's attacked more than 1,000 targets inside Gaza. Conservative and right-wing populist parties have made gains in regional elections in Germany. More than 2,000 people were killed and nearly 10,000 injured in Saturday's Afghanistan earthquake, according to the Taliban. And Hong Kong suffering from heavy rain and flooding as the remnants of Typhoon Koinu linger on the southern coast of China.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Former Vice President Mike Pence says the U.S. needs to speak with one voice that America stands with Israel. Trey Thomas reports.
Speaking on CNN State of the Union, Pence condemned what he called the worst attack on Israel in 50 years.
I think it's extremely important that we send that message that we will stand with you today. We will make sure that Israel has the resources to defend themselves.
Saturday's attack by Hamas comes 50 years after the Yom Kippur War. I'm Trey Thomas.
Senator Cory Booker says he's safe but shaken after having been in Israel when the Hamas attacks on the country began on Saturday.
There was a sense of fear and worry and a knowledge to many of us that there were horrific things going on around the country at that time.
The New Jersey Democrat noted in a social media video on Sunday that he and his staff were forced to shelter in place while in Jerusalem. Booker recalled jogging in the Old City when he was told by officials to return to his hotel quickly because Israel was under attack. Booker, who serves on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, had plans to stay in Israel through at least Tuesday, but has since left the country. A Republican congressman who voted to oust Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House says former President Trump will not replace him. Appearing on ABC's This Week, Colorado Representative Ken Buck said a speaker will be selected from within the Republican conference. Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan and House Majority Leader Steve Scalise of Louisiana are the two frontrunners for the position. Buck says there needs to be an agreement on spending limits before he'll endorse anyone as Speaker. No damage reported after an earthquake shook the Seattle area on Sunday night. The Pacific Northwest Seismic Network says the 4.5 magnitude shaker struck in Scow Bay. The depth was measured at 35 miles. And the latest movie in the Exorcist franchise, The Exorcist Believer, took the #1 spot at the box office over the weekend, raking in $27 million. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Well, you know that here at Safety FM and Radio Big, we're always trying to look for life hacks. So with the busy season just around the corner, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for your jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kits, can help you fuel up with fast chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, and ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. Refresh your healthy habits without missing a beat. Choose from 34 weekly flavored packs. Dietitian-approved meals ready to eat in 2 minutes. All you need to do is head over to factorsmeals.com/safetyfm50 and use code safetyfm50 to get 50% off. That's code safetyfm50 at factormeals.com/safetyfm50 to get 50% off. Go there. Do it now.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Listen Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves. Only on Safety FM.
Okay, there you go. A lot of stuff going on first thing this morning. Anyways, 14 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Monday. Unless it's recorded, because then it could be a different day because you do a time swap, which also could be on the podcast network. So, I don't know if I should call out the day of the week anymore. But this is as live as we get, right? So there you go. Anyways, if you're listening on Safety FM and Radio Big, cool for you. If you're on the video portion, hey, it's still cool. I'm not complaining. We still got our thing going on. We still got our move. We still got our groove. We're still doing our thingo. There is no doubt, okay? So we are hanging, we are banging, and we are doing all of our stuff. I got a lot of stuff to cover today, so let me stop yapping, and let's start talking about what the hell's going on inside of the shit list, because I think that's going to be important. So FTX files, the former FTX chief technology officer testified on Friday that the company misspent $8 billion of customers' funds at St. Bankman-Fried's direction. Gary Wang, who is accredited for the co-founder of the company, said that the company executives had special access to use customers' funds, essentially giving them blank checks to spend it on the company's operations and themselves with the next to no oversight. So to hear more, Wang testified that the funds were laundered through Alameda Research, the internal hedge fund of SBF owned, but SBF also has asserted the operator totally independently from each other's influence. Court will not be in session today because it's Columbus Day. Wang is expected to wrap up his testimony tomorrow and should be followed by SBF's former girlfriend and hedge fund director, Caroline Ellison. Yeah, the dating the thing, the people that you work with, probably not a good idea, especially when you run into something like this.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. So should you date someone after they leave the job that you both were at? Maybe that's a whole other conversation, and I can leave that for a different day. I can explain then. Okay, in 2021, a painting called The Adoration of the King sold at Christie's auction for 860,000 euros. Art historians and experts marketed it being completed within the circle of Rembrandt, not by the Dutch master himself, but by the students and colleagues that he worked with. After 18 months, close researchers and saw the use infrared imaging technology, and a specialist of Salisbury Auctions House has officially reattributed the work to Rembrandt himself. It's expected to sell north of, are you ready for this? 12 million euros when it hits the block in December. So think about that. You bought something for $860,000, or euros, excuse me. And now you're selling it for 12 million euros. I mean, like I say, there's a market for everything. So that's the stuff that you have to think about. So I don't know. Hey, good for you. If that's the kind of turnaround you got in 18 months, woohoo, buddy. There you go. Anyways, Kelvin Kiptum not only won the Chicago Marathon on Sunday and not only set a new record for the fastest completion, he became the first one to cross the finish line in under 2 hours and 1 minute. At 2 hours and 35 seconds, Kiptum beat the previous record set last year by Berlin Marathon by the fellow Kenyan. That works out at the pace of 1 mile for every 4 minutes, 37 seconds, or just over 13 miles per hour. Let's see, for 2 hours straight. Kiptum is 23 years of age and reportedly trains without a coach. After winning, Kiptum still had the energy to jog past the spectators and give a hug and handshakes to friends and family. I mean, I have a hard time just getting out of bed. I can't even imagine running for that period of time. But there you go. 4 minutes and, what was it? 4 minutes and what? And 37 seconds. That's something. I mean, that's pretty incredible. I don't even think I can get my bike that fast. And I thought I was a pretty quick bike rider, but whatever. Did you know the average homeowner encounters a bug inside or outside of their home about 5 times a week? Yeah, according to one poll survey of 2,000 homeowners, 56% say that they feel frustrated when they find a bug or pest inside of their home, while 39% reported that feeling scared, disgusted, and anxious. As for now, they handled the indoor bug encounter. 22% in respondents said that they would have someone else deal with the issue. 17% reportedly say that they would swat it, and 12% felt that it was their duty to set them free. So here's the buggy myth. 48% of respondents believe that bugs and pests won't enter a clean home, and 4 out of 10 stated they believe that the average person swallows eight spiders in their sleep on the average of their lifetime. If you ever get really bored, you should look up some of the standards by the FDA. And I'm not picking on any government agency, but you should look at, how much bugs and rats poo you can have in food with it still being okay to eat. Yeah, I said all that. No, I really did.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
So take a listen to this. A monkey named Momo caused some serious chaos in Indianapolis neighborhood last week. The Indianapolis Metro Police Department received several calls about a small monkey that was charging people and trying to get into their homes and seen chugging beer from garbage cans. It was eventually located at a vacant home where officers were able to lure it into the bathroom. Hey now, from there, the monkey's owner's brother, making him a monkey uncle, came to retrieve the escapee. No word on whether or not Momo's owner is a man with a yellow hat. So, I mean, this kind of an interesting one for sure as we are talking. I mean, no doubt about that. What do you think? I mean, I don't know. It's just weird. Just weird when it's all said and done. So there you go. Let's talk about the box office. So you already kind of heard, but Hocus Pocus, the 30th anniversary edition, came in at number 10 at $1.5 million. The Exorcist, The Equalizer Part 3 came in at $1.8 million. At number 8, Dumb Money, $2.17 million. At number 7, The Nun, $2.5 million. At number 6, A Haunting in Venice, $2.7 million. At number 5, The Blind, $3.9 million. At number 4, The Creator, $6 million. At number 3, Saw, $8.1 million. At number 2, Paw Patrol, The Mighty Movie, $11.7 million. And coming in at the number 1 spot, are you ready for this? The Exorcist Believer. I'm just telling you what it's called. $27.2 million. So there you go. Some people are definitely ready for Horror Fest. Yeah, we'll just call it Horror Fest. In regards of getting, stuff up and running. I don't know. Hey, you have to have a fun time during this time of the year. Anyways, with that being said, why don't we do this? Bring in some Erin Royale and let her tell you what exactly is going on with the market. Take a listen.
Amazon is offering free grocery delivery for orders over $100. Pippa Stevens has more.
That's down from $150 as the company looks to boost its fresh food business. A spokesperson says the new pricing went into effect last night. Prime customers will pay $6.95 for orders of $50 to $100 and $9.95 for those under $50. Shoppers without Prime will still be charged between $7.95 and $13.95, depending on the size of the order and delivery window. Amazon started charging a delivery fee for orders under $150 back in February.
President Biden is praising the latest jobs report.
We've achieved a 70-year low in unemployment rate for women, record lows in unemployment for African Americans and Hispanic workers, and people with disabilities. Folks who have been left behind in previous recoveries and left behind for too long. You heard me say it before, I'm going to keep saying it. My dad had an expression. He said, Joey, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay, and mean it.
The U.S. economy added 336,000 jobs in September, significantly more than economists expected. While speaking to reporters, Biden said his administration has created nearly 14 million jobs since he took office. He said that includes 815,000 manufacturing jobs. Taylor Swift's Eras Tour concert film is one hot ticket. Trey Thomas has more.
I'll stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. It must be exhausting, always.
AMC Theaters, the movie's official distributor, announced Thursday that global advance ticket sales have surpassed $100 million. The theater chain added that the film shattered its single-day U.S. ticket sales record. Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour, hits theaters on October 13th in more than 100 countries.
With consumer and business news, Aaron Royale, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Aaron Royale, for that information right there. The Dow increased 288 points on Friday to close at 33,407. The S&P added 50 points to close at 4,308, and the Nasdaq increased to 211 points to close at 13,431. West Texas Intermediate closed at $82 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $84 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.70 on Sunday. Bitcoin was up over the weekend, but ebbing down on Sunday, trading just at shy of 27,900. There was more than 2,400 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Sunday, and more than 95 such cancellations. So there you go. Tuesday night's Mega Million drawing will be for $20 million jackpot or an $8.7 million cash payout. Tonight's Powerball drawing will be for $1.55 billion jackpot or a $679.8 million cash payout, marking it the biggest jackpot of the year and the third biggest drawing ever. So close, someone brought a ticket in Maine over the weekend, matching 5 out of the 6 numbers of the power play. Still earning about $2 million worth of prizes. So there you go, some stuff going on right there. I mean, it's still good. I mean, it's not a bad thing. $2 million is still $2 million. I mean, take it into that way. So take a listen to this. Dozens of travelers who were in Israel during Saturday's morning's attack by Hamas are returning to the airport here in the U.S. This woman says that her flight from San Francisco to Israel turned around over Greenland.
Most of the plane was asleep, and the pilot came on and said, Israel has declared war, the airport is closed, we're turning the plane around and flying back to San Francisco.
Many of the people who are returning home were forced to shelter in place before they were able to get to a safe flight out of Israel. On Sunday night, a Jewish Federation of Greater Los Angeles and Board of Rabbis of Southern California held a vigil to honor the hundreds of victims killed and wounded in fighting over the weekend. So a lot of stuff going on there. We will continue to take a look at what exactly is going on inside of the world there. Take a listen to this one. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says that Congress needs to work together to get ready to act on requests of additional aid to Israel after Saturday's attack. Take a listen to what Trey Thomas has to say.
Speaking on CNN's State of the Union, the New York Democrat said his party has made it clear it's ready, willing, and able to work across the aisle.
We have said from the very beginning of this Congress, as House Democrats, we are willing to find common ground with our Republican colleagues in a bipartisan way.
Jeffries was referring to the Republicans ousting the House Speaker last week. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, thank you, Trey, for that information right there. Let's continue talking a little bit. Governor Pritzker from Chicago continues to press the federal government for support in dealing with the migrant crisis in Chicago. On CBS Face the Nation, the governor said that he hopes the White House will put together one office and a specific department head that Illinois' leaders can work with to coordinate the effort.
We need help from the White House. One example of this is this communication that I think needs to occur with data so that we can understand who's arriving and when they're arriving.
With data, Pritzker also added that he felt that the White House has heard him, referring to letters that he sent last week with a list of requests and recommendations for addressing the asylum crisis. So there you go, some stuff going on there for sure. Take a listen to this one. A Kentwood man is suing Wyoming police for seizing his equipment that he used for YouTube videos as he catches predators in sting operations in the United States and Canada. 19-year-old Kaiser Kinley, known as on YouTube as Oma, has over 700,000 followers.
Even if these guys don't get arrested per se, their face is still out there. Generally their families know or find out. And to me, that's pretty much as good as it's going to get.
He says that he was inspired to catch a predator TV show, says that he set up the Grand Rapids Inn on June the 1st after the predator reached out to him and came to meet him on what he thought was a 15-year-old girl. When police showed up, the suspect was allowed to go free, and they seized some Kingsley's gear. Kaiser Kinley is suing the Wyoming police after the officer seized his equipment when he was trying to catch sexual predators in June.
We had this guy. He was coming to meet who he thought was a 15-year-old girl. Obviously, it wasn't. It was, me and my team.
Me and my team. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on there. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Will he get his gear back? I mean, I don't know. What's the purpose? I mean, I can understand the content. I mean, the content makes sense to me on why they might request that. But I mean, what else are we looking at here? Because that's going to be the other side of the equation. Anyways, a 27-year-old father is charged with child neglect after 8-year-old son accidentally shot himself in the head last week. Kevin Barrett faces 4 charges of second-degree child neglect, and his bond has been set to $100,000.
The investigators report that calls to 911 were delayed by 10 minutes as the child lay bleeding from his head on the floor because the adults around were more concerned with their own problems.
That was Magistrate Malaki Ramsey Heath. The boy is reportedly in stable condition after surgery. Barrett does have a history with Child Protective Services investigation, but has not been convicted of any crimes until this date. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on there. Do we want to talk about some things going on down in Miami? Let's do that. Trash collected along beach sides by Muscaton man and his company is being turned into clothing. Jackson Wrigler and Oshki are turning in plastic collected into hats, T-shirts, and more. Take a listen.
Plastic pollution is a huge issue as well. It spreads out across the Great Lakes, so around 90% of it ends up on beaches.
He is focused on West Michigan beaches for cleanup. Why does this say why do I have Miami when it says Michigan here? On West Michigan beaches for cleanup, it has a goal to collect 100,000 pounds of plastic waste by 2025. The company also gives 5% of all proceeds to nonprofits. Jackson also has a goal of collecting the 100,000 pounds. Take a listen to what he said about it.
We've been able, through our efforts and through our sales, to remove over 5,000 pounds of plastic waste from the U.S., with a portion of that from our Great Lakes beach cleanups.
So what do you think? I mean, it's kind of it's an interesting one, for sure. Okay, so we know that sometimes we do news of the weird. Well, let's do this. Crocs and cowboy boots are coming together.
The footwear company said last week that it has a new foam clog that resembles a cowboy boot, complete with spurs. A press release said the buzz around a Crocs-inspired cowboy boot has been building for years, creating a fan-fueled movement on social media. The cowboy boot Crocs will come out October the 23rd and sell for $120. I'm Mark Mayfield.
So there you go. Cowboy boot Crocs. I think I've heard it all.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, with that being said, I think it is
always replicated.
I think it's time to press a button in the wrong spot. I think it's time for us to do the thing that we get to do here, and that's that thing that we call our main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk, let's hang, let's bang, let's take a look at some of the stuff that we get to do around here. And let's talk about some of the stuff that we get to do in other places. Because listen, I have to tell you, sometimes we get to do work and we get to do things that we don't understand and probably sometimes don't even make logical sense when it's all said and done. Like, seriously. So I was looking, over the weekend at some books, and I came across this, and I'm gonna pull it directly out of the book, so it's gonna be word for word by the author. But it says, help people around you understand that work is frustrating and ridiculous, and it's not their fault. So it's true. Your workplace is frustrating and ridiculous, but what is it even more profound is that it's not your fault. Our workplaces have stupid rules, policies, processes, restrictions, and are forced upon us to be held as gospel in doing the work. Let me share with you the definition a judge would use if you were asked to determine a rule is a rule. A rule must have 4 characteristics. A rule must be written down somewhere. A rule must be communicated to people in some method. A rule must be understood. And finally, the rule must be systemically enforced. While the rules that have no real meaning around our work exist in a big enough topic for very long conversations, but we know that over time, rules that once made sense no longer hold much weight on the way we do work. Knowing that Knowing that stupid work rules are, well, stupid is important in understanding the difference between a real, thoughtful, and meaningful rule and something that someone made up and called it a rule. Rules are a good example of why work is frustrating and ridiculous, but we would have just as easily talked about policies, procedures, work instructions, handbooks, and seating charts. You can't change the way the work gets managed before it gets to you, but you can change the way that you feel about your work. Changing the way that you feel about your work is your most important tool. And one warning, however, this doesn't mean that you get to go around your workplace and constantly lamenting how frustrating and ridiculous work is. No one likes a complainer, even if he or she is correct. Now think about that real quick. Oh, by the way, what the book and what's the author? Well, Simple Revolutionary Acts from Dr. Todd Conklin. One of my favorite books. But think about that real quick. Think about how rules are actually dispensed inside of your organization. Think about how rules are laid out. Think about how frustrating some rules that don't even make sense anymore in regards to some of the stuff. Like, I'll tell you, there's a town that I used to frequent quite often, that it would say that if you that you would get arrested if you were wearing a mask in public. A mask. Now think about this. There was no exceptions to that rule. So this would essentially tell me that on this particular month, the month of October, if you were celebrating in Halloween and you were down there, well, guess what would happen? Well, technically you should be arrested for wearing a mask in public. Not a rule that makes a lot of sense. I mean, and if you look at different counties, different states, and so on, there are some weird rule sets that do exist. But let's keep it in the theme of work for a moment. How dumb sometimes are some of the rules that are there, and how frustrated you are about them. But until that rule comes to you or you find out about it, how would you go about attempting to change it? Why would you let it bother you if you're unable to talk to someone on what needs to be changed? Rules are rules, and they're kind of weird on how there's rules in the four quadrants as we were talking about, or there's the rules that are made up. And sometimes I think that we take a look too much at the rules that are made up by societal norms. Maybe that should be portion of the stuff that we focus on, opposed to just randomly sitting around and going, well, sounds like a good rule, so let's just run with it.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Show. Sarcastic? Never.
So, do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now? That live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com/one. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello.
Radio Big.
And I've been waiting all night to catch my breath. It's just the sound of your heart, you know you got me surprised. I know that it can be hard, but when I look in your eyes, I wanna feel you like it's the first time. We cannot fall inside this golden light. We cannot fall inside. I've been awakened to this borderline paradise. We can't rewind. Don't make a mockery of this heart of mine. Can't rewind.
Okay, here we go. 42 minutes past the top of the hour. This right here, well, this is Rory. What do I mean to you? No, seriously, what do I mean to you? Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show, hour number 1 of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. It is a 3-hour debacle because there is no other way around it. So there you go. We got some stuff going on. We'd like to thank Rory for allowing us to play this here. You can give this a little streamer action on YouTube Music, Apple Music, and Spotify. Yeah, some dancing going on inside of the Stoots, meaning in the studio. So there you go. A lot of stuff. Let's go ahead and bring that down all the way there. Thank you to Rory for allowing us to play this here. Anyway, so let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime. There is no joke when I mention this, but no matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. To Right Love on Her Arms wants you to know that people have been where you are now and things can get better. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com. Seriously. To Right Love on Her Arms. If you go there, things will get moving and grooving for you. No doubt about it. Because that's what they do. They set people up in regards of trying to help them out. So, there you go. There's all kinds of resources available on their website. All you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. To write love on her arms. Seriously, that will get you there and moving and grooving and all that other fun stuff. No doubt about so. So to write love on her arms, TWLOHA.com. Let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the multiverse for sure. Take a listen to this. I mean, should I talk about this? Yeah. What is the absolute worst gift that someone could ever give you? In a poll of 2,000 adults, the answer turned out to be a diet plan. There was closely followed by cufflinks. It's soap on a string. Also high up the list was thanks but no thanks gifts were bad romance numbers, hankies, and aftershave. According to one poll survey, when confronted with unwanted present, 27% graciously accepted it, 17% pretended that they were to be delighted, and a tenth said that they would show no emotion, simply do nothing, and 21% said that they have even falling out with the loved one over the terrible present. And what does one actually do with garbage gifts? 26% donate them to charity, 18% re-gift them, and 14% say that they simply hide them in their home, usually until the person comes back for another visit. Now I'm worried that the last time I made a drop-off at the local Sally Ann store, I am pretty sure that they the reactions could be accurately described as graciously accepting. So there you go. I don't know. I mean, listen. It gets weird when you get a gift that you don't want. I mean, I have to tell you, probably until this date, the best thing that I've ever seen that someone's done with a gift that they did not want, and it was for show purposes, of course. Howard Stern had a shredder, and they just shredded the gifts right there live on the air. I thought it was genius at the time. I don't know. I remember having a friend that they re-gifted a gift that they had received, and they totally screwed up. Because when they re-gifted it, they did not realize that the person that they took the gift from and then they were re-gifting it to someone else, that person was going to be there when the other person got the gift. Duh. So yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem for sure. But anyways, let's not get into the gift giving measures here of what's good, what's bad, and what's indifferent, because that's going to be always an issue as we are talking. So let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world, for sure. So let me take a look at this. Let's talk about some canceled flights. The flight from the U.S. to Israel are being canceled after the weekend attack. Take a listen to this.
Airlines including American, United, and Delta all began scrubbing flights to Ben Gurion International, Israel's main international hub near Tel Aviv, on Saturday. Flights continue to be canceled out of major U.S. cities including Chicago, New York, and San Francisco. Other airlines also pulling flights to the Tel Aviv airport include Air France, Lufthansa, Emirates, and Ryanair. Reports say airport authorities in Israel have not stopped commercial air links with Israel's second international airport at Eilat, a tourist destination on the Red Sea. I'm Scott Carr.
Okay, thank you, Scott Carr, for the information. A Florida-based private rescue organization is deploying resources to Israel to evacuate Americans who can't get out being held hostage. Project Dynamo founder and CEO Brian Stern says the challenges the Operation Promised Lands are obvious.
There's a kinetic threat from the sky that's present, which we're used to dealing with, honestly, from Ukraine. We've dealt with missiles before. There's a cyber threat. There's an assassination threat. There's an absolute kidnapping threat.
Stern says that he received several dozen requests for help to rescue Americans in Israel, Gaza, and the West Bank. Stern urges Americans with relatives in harm's way to register with his organization and State Department. Group founder Brian Stern says the mission is to get Americans in Israel out of harm's way, whether they're trapped or by fighting or being held as a prisoner. Take a listen.
We know of multiple American hostages that are being held by Hamas.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens here over the next few days as they are attempting to help. That is for sure. Take a listen to this. Closer to home, United Auto Workers Union members at the Volvo Group owned by Mack Trucks are set to go on strike today after rejecting a tentative contract agreement. Mark Mayfield has more.
In a letter Sunday, UAW President Shawn Fain said a majority of workers voted against the deal, which included a 19% pay raise. The union represents roughly 4,000 workers in Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Florida. This comes as thousands of UAW members across at least 20 states remain on strike against the big three U.S. automakers. I'm Mark Mayfield.
So very interesting stuff for sure going on right there. Take a listen to this. The congressman who led the ouster of the House Speaker, Kevin McCarthy, once spoke adamantly against the removal of a Speaker of the House 5 years ago. Take a listen.
Instead of being able to finish strong in the 115th Congress, we will shatter into a bunch of factions fighting against each other for power. We got enough of that in Washington already.
Florida Republican Matt Gaetz said on NBC Meet the Press that his commitment in 2018 about then Speaker Paul Ryan involved completely different circumstances and that McCarthy removal was necessary. Gaetz has not said whether he's endorsing Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan or House Majority Leader Steve Scalise out of Louisiana, but he did call them two great men. Gaetz also referred to Jordan as his hero and mentor. I wonder who the hell he's going after there. That's for sure, as we are talking about it. No doubt about that. What else do we have? Let's keep it on politics for a moment. Former Vice President Mike Pence says that the U.S. needs to speak with one voice, that America stands with Israel. Take a listen.
Speaking on CNN State of the Union, Pence condemned what he called the worst attack on Israel in 50 years.
I think it's extremely important that we send that message that we will stand with you today. We will make sure that Israel has the resources to defend themselves.
Saturday's attack by Hamas comes 50 years after the Yom Kippur War. I'm Trey Thomas.
Take a listen to this one. A Republican congressman who voted to oust Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House says that former President Trump will not replace him. Mark Mayfield has more.
Appearing on ABC's This Week, Colorado Representative Ken Buck said a speaker will be selected from within the Republican conference. Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan and House Majority Leader Steve Scalise of Louisiana are the two frontrunners for the position. Buck said there needs to be an agreement on spending limits before he'll endorse anyone as Speaker. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark Mayfield, for that. Take a listen to this. The NYPD has increased security at Jewish sites around the city following the Hamas attacks on Israel. Take a listen.
The move came Saturday on the order of Mayor Adams following the early morning attacks on Israel. Some of the places with a ramped-up police presence are synagogues throughout the city and the Israeli consulate on the east side. Mayor Adams notes that although there are no credible threats against the city, as the place with the most Jewish residents anywhere outside of Israel, they are taking increased precautions. Jonathan O'Halloran, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan, for that one. With that being said, 52 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's go ahead and do this, if you don't mind. Let's have some John Smalls come in here and talk about some Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by RC. Will Rogers said, "Everything is changing. People are taking the comedians seriously and the politicians as a joke." I love that quote. I want to make sure you understand something. Will Rogers died in 1935, so this quote is around 100 years old, and it's gotten more accurate along the way. There was a great movie from 2006. Robin Williams portrayed a late-night TV show host and comedian. He decided to run for president in the movie, which was very funny, and he actually won. But it was because of a voting machine error. Now, I steer clear of sharing political opinions on the radio, but that movie from 2006 was mentioned many times over the last few years. I'd rather remind you of the Will Rogers quote from 100 years ago. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
The Chan Zuckerberg Initiative has launched its second bio-research facility in Illinois. CZI co-founder and co-CEO Priscilla Chan was on hand to announce the launch of the Chan Zuckerberg BioHub Chicago.
Chicago BioHub is going to change the way our world deals with disease. It will help scientists do their part in ending disease as we know it.
The new biomedical research hub brings together three of Illinois' leading scientific and technology institutions to study human tissue. They include the University of Chicago, University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, and Northwestern University. Yelling at your kids could be causing long-term damage. New research out of Wingate University and University College London found that verbal abuse can have long-lasting repercussions: depression, aggression, substance abuse, and other behavioral disorders. Health Updates, Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
Here is another bit for our competitors to copy. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, here we are, 54 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out. Let's talk real quick about some things that are going on. Well, not that are going on. Maybe more than likely things that happened back on this date. Maybe that's the better way to take a look at it. Let's take a look. Back in 2019, nearly 1 million people in Northern California gave their power cut by Pacific Gas and Electric to prevent wildfires from the electrical equipment amid high winds. By late October, over 3 million people would lose power as one of the preventative shutoffs took place. The shutdowns were met with widespread backlash and criticism from residents who blamed government officials for the lack of information. For his part, Governor Gavin Newsom blamed PG&E. That happened back in 2019. So there you go. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, Ben Shelton turns 21, Megan Morani turns 26, Cole Preston, and let's see, Bella Hadid turns 27, Scotty McCreery turns 30, Tyler James William 31, Zach Ty Bryan turns 42, Brandon Roth 44, Steve Burns turns 50, David Cameron turns 57, Guillermo del Toro 59, Sharon Osbourne 71, Donna Kels turns 71. So there you go. That's some birthdays that are going on right now. That are going on for sure. Take a look at that. I mean, isn't that interesting? The Kels mother makes it into the mix. Today is International Beer and Pizza Day, Indigenous People Day, Curious Events Day, National Moldy Cheese Day, Canadian Thanksgiving, Fire Prevention Day, World Post Day, and Scrubs Day. So there you go. That's some days that you can celebrate if you're so inclined to look so. Also today is Columbus Day. Take a listen to this.
It's said Columbus discovered America in 1492. He was actually looking for a water route from Europe to Asia, but he wasn't the first explorer to the New World. The Vikings were here in the 10th century with Leif Erikson. Historians say you really only know who he is because of SpongeBob. No kidding.
Hey, everybody, it's Leif Erikson Day. Hinga-dinga-durgan.
And while we really don't know which explorer was here first, we do celebrate Indigenous people today. I'm Bree Tennis, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Bree, for that information right there. Listen, everything helps in regards to that. There is no doubt. Anyway, so there you go. Let's talk real quick about, let's see, where did it go? I can't even find it anymore. I'm so lost in a romance, a wilderness of pain. There is no doubt here. I lost my file. Let's talk about, did you know teens get as many as 237 notifications each day on their smartphones, according to a new report by Common Sense Media. The research says that adults often turn off their notification, but teens usually keep alerts on and impulsively check their phones throughout the day, even when they feel bombarded. About 1/4 of notifications came during school hours, and researchers said that phones and apps could improve cutting down unnecessary alerts at times when teens shouldn't be disrupted. So there you go. Some things to think about as we are talking. If you do need a random joke for today, I have one of those for you. Some of us were made to cook, and some were made to stand there and keep that person company. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What are your stickler for? What are you a stickler for? If you need a conversation for the water cooler, ask this question. 36% of adults say that they would do this in preparation for Halloween. What is it? Watch scary movies. What else would you do? So there you go. Anyways, at the top of the hour, I'll be going over to radiobig.fm exclusively for the next couple hours or so. If you hang out on Safety FM, you'll get to hang out with Sheldon Primus and do the things that he does in the world of safety consulting. So there you go. Some stuff going on right there. Thanks for hanging out with me on this lovely Monday morning, because I do appreciate it. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. Never regret anything that made you smile. Hey now. That could get interesting as I do think about it. That's for sure. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.